What's up? It's Tom, and this is Anthony Prato. This is a Saints team on a 10-game losing streak, tied up in the bottom of the 10th. 2 strikes on Prato. They've got 5 men on the infield, and he hits a laser line drive into the outfield to win this thing, and again, snap that 10-game losing streak. Anthony Prato, a special guy to the System Recaps, kind of became almost an unofficial mascot of the System Recaps in 2022, I guess is a way to put it. But wanted to lead off with that because that was such a huge moment for them. But highlight of the night still, the Twins scoring 7 runs in 1 inning. A 7-run top of the 4th. Starts with a ground out, then a Julien single, Vasquez single, Martin 2-run double, Castro RBI double, Larnach single, Lewis RBI single, and then a Matt Wallner 3-run home run. Wow. Twins win 11-4 on getaway day. They're off tomorrow. They have a 9-game home stand coming up here, so big time win, and really puts a tough loss behind them. Again, a 7-run 4th inning to win 11-4 at San Diego. And as I alluded to yesterday's game, didn't talk about that in yesterday's recap with it being out west, and glad I didn't at this point because we don't need to get deep into this. But Twins, as you see there from the win probability chart, leading late. Steven Okert had a rough go of it, and the Twins lost. So to avoid the sweep here, to bounce back and take this win, massive for the Twins in terms of momentum. This team's so tough. This team keeps fighting, again, without a lot of their best players, coming off such a disappointing loss, having a tough go of it in San Diego. They bounced back in a huge way. 4 hit nights from Trevor Larnach and Edouard Julien. How often do you see that? That's insane. And of course, everybody went nuts. But how often can you score 11 runs with only hitting 1 home run? 11 runs with only drawing 1 walk? That's crazy. The Twins just got tons of hits, 6 doubles, 1 homer, but 18 hits in the game. So great performance by the lineup, obviously. Great performance from Simeon Woods Richardson. Did only go 5 innings, but only gives up 1 run on 3 hits. Throws 101 pitches. So this is the first time in Simeon Woods Richardson's entire professional career he eclipses triple digits in a pitch count. He'd come very close, lots of 98s and 97s. But even when he was a prospect, I think that's over 120 outings. He had never thrown 100 pitches in an outing. So this is a guy where it's really easy to look at and kind of start thinking about things and worrying how much is left in the tank here. And he goes out and, he only goes 5, but he goes 5. And he throws 69 strikes. So it's not like he was struggling. Did walk a couple batters, but struck out 7 for Woods Richardson. And then the bullpen mostly did their job. Unfortunately, Ronnie Henriquez gave up some runs, but with that huge cushion, no big deal. Great win for the Twins. Wanted to lead off with that. But swinging on over to the minor league highlights, starting with Cedar Rapids, and Kaelen Culpepper, of course, arrived with Cedar Rapids, this week. They're playing in Dayton. He hit his first hit with the Colonels. It looked like it was going to be a home run off the bat, but it ends up on the warning track. Kaelen Culpepper with a double there in the top of the 8th inning. Got a good amount of that one, though. That was a well-struck ball. Here's some defensive highlights of him. He didn't get a whole lot of work. He couldn't quite corral this one in. That would have been a nice play. And then just kind of made a routine play here. He did make a catch and tag on a caught stealing at second base as well, but again, not a whole lot of work there. We're going to keep a close eye on him, though. Walker Jenkins, of course, we're going to keep an eye on him as well. Another opposite field hit for him. I've been talking a lot about that's kind of how he's geared to go, and he gets a hustle double out of that one. So nice to see out of Walker Jenkins. Moving on over to Fort Myers. A couple guys hit their first professional home runs today. Billy Amick, drafted out of Tennessee. He's got the mullet. He's got the shades. He's got the cool batting stance there. Bam. Crushes that one. Again, these are big stadiums they play in Fort Myers. So power, you got to have big power to get it out of these parks. And then Jay Thomason, drafted out of Air Force, also hit his first pro homer. Fort Myers had a doubleheader basically today. They had a makeup game and then a regular game. There was a look at Thomason. Wichita, big nights from Jake Rucker and Carson McCusker. First, here's the Jake Rucker home run. Midland, this is that affiliate that has a lot of kind of issues with their broadcasts. Props to them, though, they do their best. A lot of difficulties with the sun there in that ballpark, but they get creative with it. Not a big ballpark. Speaking of big ballparks and not big ballparks, this isn't a big one. Carson McCusker, a big man, muscles one out there. Here's Jake Rucker once again, approaching 1,000 plate appearances in his career with Wichita. It's been there the last couple of years. He hits another home run, so a 2-homer game for Jake Rucker. Awesome to see out of him. Just been grinding. And then McCusker, again, these guys just going blow for blow. These were both in the same innings, too. 2-homer games, both in the same innings. He goes oppo. Again, a short porch, shooting one into that bullpen for Carson McCusker. A 2-homer game for both of those guys. Back to St. Paul, of course, they won on the Anthony Prato walk-off, but this one got started kind of crazy in the bottom of the first. Peyton Eales thought he hit a leadoff home run here for the Saints because he was told he hit a leadoff home run. There wasn't a meeting of the umpires or anything. They didn't discuss this. It was called a home run. He was fired up. I'm sure the Saints were fired up. But, upon looking at this again, I don't think it was officially reviewed, but the umpires got together and spoke for a very long time about this. This wasn't a quick decision, and I think that was part of the reaction from Toby Gardenhire. This was probably part the pressure of a 10-game losing streak and him just having a hard time with that, and then part of it took forever for them to change their minds and call that a double, and he was fired up. He is not like his dad. Ron Gardenhire, wasn't unusual for him to get thrown out of games and be pissed off at umpires, but Toby's a lot more level-headed than his dad. So it takes a lot to get him going, but he got his money's worth. And I think, I'm not sure. I'll be interested to see if we get some quotes out of him, but I think he was probably mostly upset. It took forever for them to come to that conclusion. Just a weird way to start that game. There's Eales going back to second base. He's been a fun story. Undrafted free agent, been really good. Didn't get any pitching highlights tonight. I realized that as I was putting this together, but here is the starting pitching rundown. You take a look there. Kind of the one that stands out, unfortunately, is CJ Culpepper had a really rough start for the Wind Surge. Recently promoted up to Double-A, and it's been a little rough for him so far. Tanner Hall's another guy who's recently promoted. He pitched into the 6th inning, only gave up a couple runs for the Colonels. Charlie Soto threw today. He gave up some damage, but he did strike out 6 batters in 4 innings. So that's nice to see him missing some bats and really just generally continuing on through. I was kind of assuming when Charlie Soto started the year with Fort Myers, of course his innings have been limited to some degree, but I was kind of thinking maybe they would could just completely shut him down early, but he keeps on pitching. When we're getting closer to the end of the season on these lower levels here. So anyway, moving on over to the notable hitting performances. Diego A. Castillo hit a grand slam for the Saints, which, that was a big catalyst of them coming back and breaking that 10-game winning streak. So hats off to him. Again, Jake Rucker, not only with just 2 home runs, he also had a double, drove in 6. Jake Rucker drove in 6 runs today. Rubel Cespedes, didn't get highlights of him in there, but he had 3 hits, including his 12th homer of the year for the Colonels. And then we did look at Amick and Thomason's first pro homers. Twins win big. Saints come from behind to win in extras. The Wind Surge, despite having 2 guys with multi-homer games, despite having Jake Rucker driving 6, they still lose 11-10. That's just kind of the way it's been going for them. Everybody else loses too, so kind of a tough night across the system, but great to see the Saints snap that losing streak and the Twins bounce back. So thanks for checking this one out. I appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.